In this question, 30 children were asked about the number of hours they watched TV program in the previous week. The results were found as follows, that is 1 hour, 6 hours, 2 hours, and so on up to 12 hours. Now we have to make a group frequency distribution tables. For these tables, take the class width as 5 and one of the class interval as 5 to 10. How many children, and the second question is, how many children watch television for 15 or more than 15 or more hours a week? So we have to prepare a group frequency distribution tables. Group frequency distribution tables, we have to make the groups, not the individual ones. We have to make the classes, or we have to make the intervals. The one of the interval, as in the questions given, that is 5 to 10. As the so in the for the drawing of group frequency distribution tables, we have to make the three columns. In the first column, we have to write down the class interval, that is class interval for the number of hours. In the second column, we have to write down the telemarks. In the third column, we have to write down the number of student. So as it is already given in this question, we have to take a class interval from 5 to 10. 5 to 10. So we have to also include the value 1 and 2 hours also. So the class interval previous to 5 to 10 is 0 to 5. So 0 to 5 is the first class interval, and from 5 to 10 the second, and from 10 to 15. So the maximum number of hours is 17. So we have to take a class interval which includes the value 17 also. So we have to draw again one class interval, that is 15 to 20. Now we have to take the number of students who are watching the TV for 0 to 5 hours. It means the number of students who are watching the TV less than 5, because in the first class interval the class interval is from 0 to 5, but in this class interval the value 5 is not included. So we have to take the number of students who are watching the TV from 0 to 4 hours in this class interval. So same way in the second class interval 5 to 10, the 10 is not included. So we have to take the values, or take the number of students who are watching the TV from 5 to 9 hours. We does not include the value 10 here. So in the same way, 10 to 15 we not include 15. From 15 to 20 we are not able to include 20. So for the now we prepare a reconciliation table. Now we read the values 1. The value 1 is considered in the first class interval. We have to draw one telemark. And then 6. 6 is included in the second class interval. 2. 2 in the first one. And the 3 is again in the first. 5. We does not include 5 in the first, so 5 will come in the second. Now the value 12. 12 in the third interval. Now the 5. 5 will again in the second. 8. 8 again in second. 4. 4 in the first. 8 again in second. We have to make a slant line. Now the value 10. The 10 will include in the third class interval. The value 3 again in the first. We have to make a slant line. Now 4 again in the first. 12 in the third. 2 in the first one. 8 in the second one. 15 in the fourth one. 1 in the first one. 17 in the last one. 6 in the second one. 3 in the first one. 2. Again we have to make a slant. 8 we have to make in the second. 5 in the second. 9 in the second. 6 in the second. 8 in the second. 7 in the second. 14 in the third. 12 in the third. So we read all these information and we draw the tally marks. Now this is 5, this is 5, so 10 students who are watching the TV from 0 to 5 hours. Now 5 plus 5 10, 10 plus 3 13. This is 5 and this is 2. So this is our frequency distribution table, or the group frequency distribution tables for number of students who are watching the TV. So we see that the number of students who is watching the TV from 0 to 4 hours is 10, and number of students who are watching the TV for 5 to 9 hours is 13, because the 10 is not included. So this is our tables. This is our first solution of the first part. Now the second part is how many children watch television for 15 or more than 15 hours a week. 15 or more than 15 hours a week, that is we have to include, that is this class interval, that is from 15 to 20, representing the number of students who are watching TV more than 15 or more than 15 hours. So there are 2 students who are watching the TV more than 15 or more than 15. Now we have to see some more concept regarding the group frequency distribution tables. Here let's take 5 to 10. These are the class interval, that is 0 to 5 is the class interval, 5 to 10 is another class interval. So let's say 5 to 10 is our class interval. This 5 is called the lower limit of this class interval, and 10 is called the upper limit of the class interval. 5 is the lower limit and 10 is the upper limit of this class interval. The difference between the upper limit and the lower limit of a class interval is called the class size. Class size, we take a class that is from 5 to 10. This is our class interval. This is our class interval. In this, the 5 is called the lower limit and 10 is called the upper limit of this class interval. So now we define class size. Class size means the difference between the upper limit minus lower limit. That is 10 minus 5 is our 5 is the class size. Now the class mark. Class mark is defined as upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. That is 10 plus 5 divided by 2. That is 7. That is 7.5 is our class mark. This is lower limit, this is upper limit, and the class size is upper limit minus lower limit, that is 5, and the class mark is defined as upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2, that is 10 plus 5 15, 2 by 2, that is 7.5. Now we move to the next question. Form a group frequency distribution table for the following data by inclusive method. Take 4 as the magnitude of the class interval. Take 4 as the magnitude of a class interval. Now, first of all, we have to find the range. The range can be found as, range is the difference between the maximum value of the observation minus minimum value of observation. In this question, the maximum value is 38 and the minimum value is 10. The maximum value is 38 and the minimum value is 10. So the range is 28. The range is 28. Now, as the size of the class interval, or you can say the class size of the interval is 4. So the number of classes is defined as range divided by the class size. Range divided by the class size. The range is 28 and the class size is 4. So the number of classes are 7. So the number of classes are 7. Range is 28, class size is 4. Number of classes is defined as range divided by the class size. That is 28 upon 4, that is 7. So there are total 7 classes of class size 4.